Hello everyone, this is Amy back again for another doodle quilting tutorial. And today is day 17 of the Doodle School Free Motion Doodle Challenge. The prompt for today is feathers. The design I am about to show you is butterflies and feathers. So I'm going to show you how to create butterflies that have a sort of a feather kind of trailing off of them that makes it look like, it shows you their travel path, and it looks like little, puffs of wind or something, and it really just ends up looking quite elegant and fun and pretty. So to start out with, I've drawn a box on my paper. I'm going to start at one of the edges of my box. It doesn't really matter where. So first thing I do is draw a wavy line, and at the end of that I'm going to draw a butterfly. So I'll just draw an oblong body. You can draw a separate head on top if you want, or you can just have the body and the head sort of be one thing. So here's a version with a separate head. Then I'm going to draw a wing by coming up and out to a point, and then down and around and back up. I don't know if you paid attention to the shapes of butterfly leaves, but the bottom one usually comes up toward the body. So there's that. Now I'm going to travel around to the other side and do the other wing. Okay, now it's time for the feathers. I'll travel down the body, and I'm going to do a lobe like this. It's a bit like a water drop that curves around, so these are all going to curve sort of, the long line will curve up here, and then, but I'll be starting, okay, so that's my first lobe. I'm going to do one on the other side now. And now I'm going to move into doing bounce back or bump back feathers. So the way you make these is I'm going to travel out from my center line. So I travel out and then curve back up until I meet with this previous lobe that I made. And then I'm going to travel back on this line, and at any point I can create another lobe just by coming back out, bumping out and around, and then merging back to my guideline right there. Then I'm going to come over to the other side and do one. Now notice I'm kind of curving these really far up around the first ones that I drew. I'm trying to fill in some of this space around the butterfly that might be awkward to fill in later. So this is where I ended. I'm going to travel back on that line and create the second lobe of that side of the feather. Okay, so I travel back here, and that's just how it's going to go. From now on, I'm going to go out, bump back, and then create another feather. Now I want to vary the sizes of these lobes of the feather as I go, just to create interest. I find them to be much more interesting if the size kind of changes as you go. I have certainly seen, and even done myself, lots of feathers where all the lobes are basically the same size and shape, and that works for some things, but for what I'm doing, I'm going to switch things up. Okay, so that's my first butterfly with its trail. Now I'm going to create another one somewhere. Now I could travel along this outside border and start again from somewhere else, but what I prefer to do is travel back along this center line of this trail here till I get to somewhere where I can branch out and create another one. I just like the way that flows. So here's my other butterfly, just to show you what it looks like if you don't add a separate head. a little circle for the head, I mean. I just did a body here, so you can decide what you want to do. You're also welcome to come in and maybe create designs in the wings. You could just echo them once. That's totally up to you, so that's what I'm going to do for this one. And then create my first 2 lobes on either side. And do my little back and forth bump back feathers. I do want to try to merge with my previous one when I get to there. Sometimes I get going too fast and I'm not careful about that, so I'm just going to, make a mental note to self, basically. I'm also coming up into this area to fill it in while I'm here, rather than having to come back to that later when it's a little more awkward to get there. Okay. I also have quite a bit of space in here to fill up, and I think right now would be a good way to do that. I can travel from where I am and try to fill it up, but I don't really like that idea. I don't think it would work very well. Let's just make this into a new tail. Now I can travel back up this way and just kind of complete it going in this direction, or I could come this way and do it going the opposite direction. I'm just going to come and continue going this direction because to me that just makes a nice continuation of what I was already doing. Okay. All right, so I'm going to fill up the rest of this area, and I'll speed up the camera just to keep the video a little shorter. So I'll meet you back here when I'm done. All right, all done. These little feathers trying to fill in these tiny spaces right here were kind of awkward. I might have done better to pay more attention and actually filled in that space the first time I was there. I could have curved these around a little farther. Same with these right here. But it's okay. I don't think they're horrible. They kind of match what I did over here a little bit. So that's it. This is the butterflies and feathers doodle quilting design. I hope that you've enjoyed it and you'll be able to learn or be able to use it in your quilting. I am really excited to see what you make for today's prompt of feathers. Feathers are one of my favorite things to quilt with free motion quilting. All right, I'll see you back tomorrow for day 18 of the Doodle School Free Motion Doodle Challenge. Bye now.